All right. Part 2. Jobs. General questions about the burst cycle, burst cooldowns, guardian angel slime, seed rings, liberation skills, etc. Oh, so this is what we were talking about with Zalpex earlier in the chat today. It's kind of important. They agreed the utility of seed rings is different for each job. So the Oz rings, they had many internal meetings about burst cycles, and they are cautious of unifying all jobs' burst cycles, Oz rings, and liberation skills at the moment. For unifying various skill cycles, it would cause the game to become one where you burst every 180 seconds continuously going forward, which is not good in terms of game scalability and should be avoided. I don't know what they mean exactly by that, but I mean I assume that they have the metrics to back that up. For Oz rings and Genesis weapon, they are currently endgame items, but they will naturally be replaced in the future. That's kind of spooky. They say they will naturally be replaced in the future. Imagine a ring that comes out that'll just like outpace your Oz ring, like your RR4, and a weapon that outpaces your Genesis weapon right now. Those things are gonna have to be so fucking strong. They know that the 180-second burst cycle has been most effective for a long time, but they want to make multiple cycles more meaningful and would like to move in a direction that improves this, like adding new bosses. They said it is hard to... yeah, I guess the 3-minute burst is very nice on the slime, but if there's other bosses where 4 minutes makes more sense, where you can't like stall it like that. Maybe, yeah. They said it's hard to promise unifying skill cycles or changing the utility of items right now. While they don't have plans to unify them, that doesn't mean that it won't make any adjustments. Chang Sub said that he thinks making all the cooldowns the same is not the solution because every job has many characteristics other than their burst cycle, and they are trying to take this into account when making improvements. Yeah, I agree on that part. One thing that we were talking about earlier, so what I ended up with for some reason is like, what if 6 job is basically a way to customize skills? And you can set yourself into like a 2-minute, a 3-minute, or a 4-minute mode by adjusting the numbers on your existing skills or something within a parameter, of course. I mean, it'll be an insane nightmare to balance, but just thinking about that, you know, as a concept was kind of, I think it was kind of interesting. Jen's weapon is not even tradable with Scissor. I'm not sure. I don't know about Scissor and all that stuff. I imagine it's not because it's a very much connected to your character and the whole quest of liberation, so I would assume that it's not transferable in any way. Why am I doing these Oz runs? JK, I'm never going to get a RR4. I'm okay with my RR3. I think I'm okay sitting on that, and then maybe on other characters, if I care enough about them, I'll do Oz there. But what things do you focus on when working on a remaster? What will be next after the Cygnus remaster? They think the most important thing is maintaining the job identity while improving convenience. It's difficult to give it an exact order in terms of release date. It would be Resistance, then Heroes. That's what I'm expecting, yeah, Resistance and then Heroes. But even if it's not a remaster, they will continue to improve jobs every month with structural improvements like Angelic Buster. They will share more when they decide on an official schedule. Yeah, I think it's a good idea not to look too much at like, okay, what is the next class or group of classes that are going to get reworks, because even though the Explorer rework is coming and there's a lot of changes there, there's a bunch of classes, you know, mainly the Demon Avenger but also some other classes that are getting crazy overhauls that, you know, basically also constitute a rework. So even if they say like, oh, we're just going to do this, but intermittently they keep looking at all the classes and redoing them if necessary, if they're underperforming, overperforming. That's, I think, more important than doing these great rework stuff. Although I think it's good in name to kind of like shine light on the game and like bring people back and everything. But the constant change and not waiting for like an artificial barrier to fix a character, but just fixing it if it's broken. In general, I support that way more than just like sitting on twiddling your thumbs and waiting. Well, we can't do anything yet because we're not doing 16 classes at once for this one. Curious about their sense and direction on the open job advancement system and ways to fix its unintended usage. Oh, there's unintended usage? They've considered this a lot as well. They think it would be ideal if the system didn't have such big merits, but they don't want to remove it since it is one of the adventure's special characteristics. They're preparing a direction where it can be used freely until level 200, and then after that, the cost would be similar to the cost that other jobs face when they change jobs. Okay. Yeah, I think you should probably be able to switch under 200 more. I think that's fair. I mean, when they say it's such big merits, maybe that's a non-reboot thing, but in reboot, it's like, yeah, the merits are there, but holy shit, is it so expensive? You can't really job change until you're like established at like 245 with a whole bunch of nodes of backup. If you switch a character before then, you're just shooting yourself in the foot, and you should probably just make the other character instead. Yeah, if you're rebooting. Because, man, starting from scratch again with like a shitty weapon and with no nodes is horrible. It's like getting a level 250 character, but it's just completely unfun. You know. Was there a date in KMS for Cygnus Knight revamp? Yeah, the 11th is going to be the showcase for it. And the actual release will probably be a little bit later. But the 11th of June is going to be the showcase. Yeah. Are there any plans to release a new job? They will release a new job if necessary, but for now they're concentrating on remasters and job balancing. I think that's fair. Story. For Arcane River and Grandis, there are no world or side quests. Are there any plans to add them? They think the dimensional library format is an effective method to add these. Dimensional library. Prepare more side quests more quickly. One case said that the story compression is also needed. They haven't considered it until now, but they will provide it later in a digest format so you can quickly summarize and read the story. Hell yeah. Books in MapleStory, and then a pop quiz at the end, and if you fail, you can't do will for a month. I'm just kidding. Are there any plans to add a feature that lets you skip a story after you finished it once? Oh, I thought they already did that. They don't know that no matter how fun something is, doing it repeatedly can make it stressful, so they will add a skip feature soon. Okay, good. There's a problem where the same voice actors are playing multiple characters. They do know that a lot of jobs have the same voices since they hire famous voice actors, and they will try to find new voice actors to improve this. I mean, if you're a good voice actor, shouldn't you be able to do multiple voices without it sounding like it's the same person? Isn't that the whole point of being a voice actor? Or am I missing something here? Sounds like the voice actors aren't very good then. or people are like noticing it too much. Okay. You didn't even notice it was the same ones? Well, I mean, if we're playing it in GMS, we're getting the GMS voice actors, not the KMS ones, right? A lot of stuff that is voice acted, we get our own voice acting for that. I'm so close to charge NX for black cubes, whatever. Stay strong, okay? Stay strong. Bosses, I'm curious about your thoughts on the price drops of Dawn and Pitch Boss accessories. The price drops of Dawn and Pitch Boss. Okay. They did notice the recent price drop. Shining Star Force may be one of the reasons why, but they also think one of the main issues is the increased number of players fighting these bosses based on their data. They do think it's important to preserve their value and are keeping track of prices. If the situation becomes excessive, they will patch it accordingly. Price drops of Dawn and Pitch Boss accessories. That's interesting, because you would expect the cost of those to always slightly go up, right? Because if something is endgame, the richest people are done, so they don't need to buy any anymore. But the amount of people that get access to that realm will increase, therefore increasing the competition. And the supply should never be big enough for the demand. So the demand should always be exceeding the supply for these items. And as a result, the price should always like slightly rise. But yeah, it's possible that the price was artificially increased because of the Shining Star Force, and then it just drops after that because people aren't desperate anymore. So it's probably something they have to keep in mind for a longer time, yeah. Are there any plans to fill the gaps between bosses by adding new ones? Dude, there's so many bosses already. Why do people want 6 million bosses to do? They've already added new difficulties to existing bosses and will continue to do so in the future. Mid and low tier bosses needed some work, but recently high tier bosses also need it, so they will work on it. I mean, I think it would be cool if they added something like an even higher level of Zakum, or maybe of Zakum, but like a even higher level of like Papalagis or something, where you like 6-man party. Are there any plans to rework older bosses like Demon, Balrog, Hilla, Arcarium, and Horntail? There is precedent like with Zakum, but they think having older bosses is a good asset. There is an option to rework them to fill in mid-tier bosses, but currently they're focusing... Or yeah, like a Chaos Arcarium or something with like a full boss party. They're focusing on adding boss difficulties to existing bosses. They will consider this in the future. I think, yeah, even though some of those characters have like bad mechanics. Like Balrog, I think is completely obsolete, but like Ark, you know, adding that shield is probably a good way to like keep him current without doing too much work to him. That's probably a good one. And like Horntail and Hilla, I think it's okay to have those bosses because they're kind of like tucked away and they're good for progression, but I don't know if you want to make them super meta or make them super relevant again. I don't think you want 50 bosses that are super relevant for everything and feel like you're pressuring people to have to do them all every week, otherwise you're missing out on so much. I think it's good to have some bosses that people can also just skip. Just like with events. I think it's fine to have events where when people like complain that an event is bad, but that means you finally get to catch your breath and you get to do other stuff in the game rather than go hard on the event. Like when there's an event that's really good, people are like angry at how many characters they need to cap, and then when they don't have to, then they're mad that the event is shit. It's like, or you know, you can see the silver lining in these things, right? Are there any plans to improve bosses with patterns that make it difficult to deal damage, like Magnus's meteors, and patterns that have unreasonable luck elements, like Dusk Meteors, Lucid's teleport? Lucid's teleport is skill based, bro. She has an indicator for that. You need to respond faster. For the people who don't know, it's like I think she like opens up her hand, and there's like a little sparkle over her hand. If that happens, she's teleporting you. So if you're standing on the side during Dragon and you think you're safe, you want to look at Lucid and look at what she's doing. If she does that animation, you want to still iframe because you're gonna get teleported right into the spooky vomit breath. I do agree though. Like, I think the main thing they did to improve the Lotus fight, the people who played a long time ago know about this, is that the Lotus obstacles or the area stuff that used to fall came in falling at full speed, just like in Magnus, and they changed for them to materialize on top of the map, giving you way more time to respond to it. And also, more recently, the Demolishizer didn't have, you know, its own hitbox doubled downward, where there wasn't anything yet. That was also a pretty good fix. So that might be a cool thing. They will improve bosses quickly like they did with Hilla and Arcarium. They also think Dusk and Darknell's patterns are excessive, and for high-tier bosses, they think there is room for improvement, so they will update them as soon as possible. Okay, so hopefully in the update after this one. Research my scientists, I don't know if I need to do anything additional to accumulate the Moses. No, you can check !Moses and you can see how many you have. You get 10 every 10 minutes if you're in here. Oh shit, I have 140k right now. There are any plans to add a boss clear status UI. They will proceed in the direction of upgrading the previously added boss bulletin board. Okay. Yeah, for people who haven't seen that yet, the new boss UI is pretty cool. Basically, you can put like a listing on, and it'll say what kind of parties are looking for people, and oh, an ad is starting soon. Let me snooze that real quick. There you go. So that's quite interesting. Are there any plans to add a UI that visually shows the debuffs on a boss? Oh, please, yes. Just on the bottom left of the HP bar, please, next to the percentage. Not like floating on top of the boss. It's so annoying. Resource current combat situation is too complex, and they think it's important to have effective information sharing. Yes. They won't be able to show everything, but they will proceed in a direction that adds important things like binds. That's not the answer I was looking for. That feels like a very, again, a politician answer rather than this is what we're going to do. There's a big difference between jobs in Willing Dojo and Shireen Underground Culvert. Yeah. I think the culvert being a disparity, I don't think is a problem because you want to have a, you know, wide variety of classes in your guild. I mean, technically, like one guild could be number one if they just pick like the top Shireen Culvert classes and just throw them all into the same guild, but then I don't know. That feels a little bit like you're trying to fuck everyone else over, and then if you have to do a party with the other people are looking at you like, well, you guys fucked this over on the cover. I don't know. But for Dojo, that's true, for sure. Are there any plans to add a new spec measuring system to improve this? I think that the Mulling Dojo and Culvert are just reference material, and they are trying to make something that gives more accurate indicators. It is quite difficult, but they are currently researching about this. Well, it's not that it's not an accurate indicator, but it's more that it is in the game and there are benefits from it, and not everyone is fighting on even playing field, right? That's the problem. It seems like they're dodging a lot of these things with their answers, I think. I'm curious about your thoughts on the introduction of the battle analysis system, like the one in Ursus, to other bosses, so players can see other players' contributions. Okay, that's a bad example because Ursus' system is so fucked. It doesn't make any sense. They would like to introduce a battle analysis system as soon as possible if it was accurate. Okay, thank God. However, it is difficult right now to accurately pinpoint contribution in bosses. They know that using Mulung Dojo and Culvert as references is incomplete, so they want to improve those first before considering a battle analysis system. Yeah. I mean, we have the fog forest, where you can set up the parameters yourself. If anything, that's pretty accurate. I don't think anyone has any like major problem with that. Convenience. It is inconvenient to use Alt-Enter for full screen mode. It will provide this as an on-off option as soon as possible. Oh, okay. They're turning it into a toggle, so you don't necessarily do that. Anyone down to Dual Cvel in the chat? Hit him up. Overall improvements on the auction house, including things like adding the highest average transaction price and current lowest price. It is difficult because equipment prices vary a lot, but for items with specific prices, they will improve it as soon as possible to provide more information as a reference. Please remove the 30-way cooldown on the Meisterville teleport. They are planning to reduce this cooldown as soon as possible. Okay. I mean, at least it seems like there's at least a list of actionable stuff that in the next update, or maybe in the one right after that, could just all be in there as part of like the better Maple stuff, right? Where they basically take the direct feedback from the player base, and that this is just like one way of getting that input. Can you show information like Legion, Mulung Dojo when you click on a character? They want to be careful about this as many players don't want to share some of their information. However, since things like Mulung Dojo floor can be seen on the boss bulletin board, they will be added. Okay, cool. A monster sound effect mute feature needs to be added. This will be added. Attack speed needs to displayed in the stat window. This will be added as well as attack and magic attack. Oh, your total weapon and magic attack? Finally, dude. How old is this game? Weapon and magic attack. Oh, meanwhile, your guild is in your stat window, but attack and magic attack nowhere to be found. Certain daily quest monsters should be marked on the minimap like in Monster Park. Yep, I agree. An alert before buffs or experience coupons expire needs to be added. This will be added. Oh, wow. Like, all of this stuff is already, like, on the list. That's pretty cool. This is mostly convenient stuff, right? Yeah. A way to change the skill alarm feature's duration needs to be added. They will consider this and implement as soon as possible. So if people don't know, that's still on the way. The skill alarm is basically you can put an alarm for certain skills so that there's like a pop-up when the skill comes off cooldown on the bottom right corner of your screen, so you can more clearly see that it comes back, and you don't have to like look for the buff in the top bar or like scour the bottom right of your bar to see where it is, but you'll just get an actual pop-up. When opening rare treasure chests from elite bosses, please show the remaining number of boxes you can open as well. Well, please just automatically open them or something. I lose these things too often because I just don't click them immediately. Feature to turn the buddy login notification on-off needs to be added. Oh, they added this for guild. Yeah, it's weird that they didn't add it for buddy as well. About the deletion of dormant players' nicknames. They are quite busy right now, but will proceed with this in the second half of the year. Ooh, another name purge? I think this is very region-based though, so it's not because KMS had one that GMS might have another one, but... Okay, and then cosmetics. Can I snooze one more time? Okay, snooze one more time. Are there any plans to expand the decoration tab? When considering the overall usage trends, they think it is too early to expand. Are there any plans to add cosmetic presets? It is hard to say for sure when this will be added, but they expect that it's not too far away. As a result, they expect that it will be much more convenient to change into outfits used for combat and items used for cosmetics. Yeah, this is because in KMS there's a lot of NX with stats, so for them that's much more an issue. Monkey said that it would be difficult to add systems that other games have, like Dungeon Fighter Online's clone avatars would be difficult and add a lot of complexity. I don't know exactly what that is. I mean, I guess they have multiple avatars and you can dress them up differently and just switch between the full avatars or something. They will first prioritize and improve changing between combat and casual outfits, and then look at improving the decoration tab. Okay. Are there any plans to share things like chairs, writings, cosmetics within the same world or account? They do agree that the need to add this, and it is a long-term direction, but it is difficult to make it into a system. For chairs, they're currently looking at the items that don't have certain acquisition limits, and will change them to be able to be put into storage as soon as possible. If all the chairs can go into storage, that's quite nice, especially for collectors, of course. Nah, I'm probably gonna do it solo or do normal Galunga. It's fine. Anyone else for Hard Lotus and Hard Damien? Hit up Galunga in the chat to join that party. Can longer hairs be added to the male change hair coupons? This will be added in the next change hair coupon. They want not only short hair, okay? Not only K-pop coops. Can the ability to use mixed dye, mixed lens mannequins on androids be added? They will be added. They will add the ability to use mixed dye and mixed lens on androids as soon as possible, but mannequins are currently not possible. Okay. Can the number of mannequin slots be expanded? They think this can be done within the year. Seems like they got their work cut out. They definitely had a lot of questions and answered a lot of them. Jesus. Events IB communication. The golden chariot needs to be improved. They're not only considering automatic attendance checks, but starting from the next golden chariot, they will change it to be 7 stamps per week. Oh, so the weekends aren't going to count double anymore for the people who can't play during the weekend and then lose disproportionately. That's probably fair. And then adjust all the rewards based on that. Are there any plans to redo or reuse past events that a lot of players have fond memories of, such as Coketown or Neo Castle? Oh yeah, Neo Castle was kind of nice. Coketown, that's a long time ago. I think I have the... oh no, not on this character. I have the... if you get the full Ursus soul page, you get the Ursus bear drinking a Coca-Cola. In the hidden page. I think that they will have an opportunity to show this at appropriate times. Wow, that's very nondescript. Are there any plans to bring back Fight Returns of the Legends? That's something that I usually... basically, you pilot like one of the legendary characters, you know, one of the NPCs, and you pilot them. So you can play D-Ray 86's, whatever it's called. You can LARP that as that. I'm curious about how the hair copyright related issue is going. They confirmed that the hair was made after buying that game's Avatar license, and they apologize for being late in confirming this. Oh, apparently they were in some legal dispute on a hairstyle in game? Oh, I missed all that. Are there any plans to use MapleStory's IP to release non-game content like character goods, performances, albums? I was thinking more like TV show, anime, manga, that kind of stuff. They will increase their usage of the MapleStory IP from this year in preparation for the 20th anniversary. Currently, they have the Starfield Balloon Festival, and for the Symphony performance, they're planning additional dates in July. They can't talk about other partnerships at the moment, but they're definitely looking into them. They are planning to release more figures. Oh, like figurines and shit? Okay. And then we have rewards. All players will be able to claim the following rewards starting from May 4th. They can be claimed once per Maple ID. Oh, they get some free stuff. Maximum Growth Potion. I think that's up to 250, right? Terra Burninator, Mannequin, Experience Nodestone, Selective Symbol Voucher 100 or 20 Authentic, 2,000 Memory Tokens, which is the currency in their 19th anniversary, 10 Extreme Growth Potions, 1 Mixed Dye, 1 Mixed Lens, and a Selective Growth Potion Voucher. And in addition, in the May patch, the base number of storage slots will be increased to 24. I just want the total to go up, man. And then MapleStory Ignition, which if you guys hadn't seen the teaser yet, that's going to be the name of the summer update in Korea. So right now, Korea is also having their anniversary event, their 19th. We have our 17th. And when we get the Destiny update, which was Korea's winter update, the previous winter update, they're getting their summer update Ignition. So we will be getting Ignition most likely in the winter for GMS. So that's going to be the showcase, most likely, of the revamp of the Cygnus Knights on the 11th of June. And that's what they... so Cygnus Remaster Odium, so that's a new area. And we still don't really know if the new area is also going to have a new symbol or new dailies or actual... It's going to be a big area with a lot of new maps, or if it's just going to be a small area. So we're going to have to see how that exactly... That's going to be pretty interesting, though, because it is going to determine if people are going to keep pushing levels and keep pushing areas. So especially for endgame people, it's going to be very important to see what that is going to be all about. So yeah, that's all the stuff that we went over on the Maple Talks, end of part 2. So yeah, let me know what you think, and thank you for watching the whole thing.